No, you don't get to violate the whole spirit of the podcast by preparing an outline. That's not what we do. Put down the whiteboard marker and just embrace the free-flowing spirit of Guy Talks, Girl Rolls Her Eyes.
I know, but sometimes I need to just make a list.
Well, just make a mental list.
I do, but then I get so caught up in what we're talking about that I forget the list, and then I have to be reminded of the list, but you don't know the list.
But this is what our some odd dozen listeners really enjoy, is the spontaneity of your brain bouncing all over the place.
Is that what they enjoy?
Or it might be the scorn in your voice when you address my opinions, but
I think that's what they like.
Might be a fun mishmash of both of those.
I mean, I guess we're gonna find out.
We will. But either way, what we're not going to do is abandon the sort of the core framework of how we do this and start scripting things out, even in a bulleted list.
I wasn't going to script anything out.
You had a whiteboard marker in hand.
I still do. I'm still holding it.
This is we're coming up on your favorite time of year.
It is by far my favorite season.
We've entered your favorite time of year, in
yes,
fact, because it feels a little brisk in the office. We
are both dressed appropriately, wearing sweaters.
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather is here. We have replaced the window unit air conditioners in our 100-year-old building.
Yes.
With the
more than 100-year-old building.
Right, over 100 years old.
Yep.
And roughly filled in some of the gaps where they used to live. So a little drafty in here. That's part of the
charm.
Mm-hmm. But this is a good time of year. It's my second favorite season, as I think you know. I'm a spring guy. No, I know.
Oh, okay. You're a spring guy. I'm not a spring girl. I mean, it's fine. I don't dislike any season except maybe summer. It's my last on the list. Mine would go fall, winter, spring, summer.
Yeah, you're an oddball that way.
I don't think I'm as odd as you think I
am. We should do a poll on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
I'd be interested.
We could do that.
In that, because in my mind, I think for most
yours
people,
is opposite. Yours is probably spring, summer, fall, winter.
Well,
is that how yours
no.
goes?
See, I go spring, fall, summer, winter.
Okay. All right.
But what I was going to say is I suspect, especially in Wisconsin and Minnesota, that many people's least favorite season would be winter, whereas that's a season you really love.
Now, that's interesting to me, because why do you choose to live in Wisconsin or Minnesota if you hate winter? Go somewhere else.
It's for the people, I think.
Well,
it's for the people.
They are
Good
really
people
nice in
live
Minnesota.
here.
Yeah, Minnesota nice. But yeah, see, I love winter. Fall and winter might be tied in my book, as you know.
Yeah. Before we go any deeper into this, we should probably introduce ourselves, because we're deeply annoying one or two of our listeners right now who really don't like these long intros.
They really don't.
Which
we do get feedback on that regularly.
Yeah.
That's the only feedback we get regularly.
Yeah. Which, interestingly, has not stopped us.
No.
But anyway. Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Betsy.
And this is Guy Talks.
Girl Rolls Her Eyes.
And we are talking about fall. This is a good time of year.
Oh, it's the best time of year.
What is your favorite part of fall?
Oh.
That's tough. Well, let me rephrase that, because I actually hate that question when people ask that.
Oh, well, thanks for asking it then.
Because you probably have lots of things you like about fall.
I do.
Since it's your favorite season.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask a slightly different question.
Okay.
What is the first moment of fall that gets you really excited? Like, what's typically the first thing that makes you realize, oh my gosh, it's fall and I'm so excited?
It is waking up, and so as you know, and probably people in podcast land do not know, but will now know, I wake up every morning and I go to the gym. It's the first thing I do. Yeah. And so the first time I open the door to my apartment building and I step outside and you get hit in the face by that crisp, cold air,
yes.
It's just my favorite.
Yeah, so the humidity starts to
it's gone.
disappear.
Yep.
And you get those really crystal clear skies.
Yeah.
Where there's some clouds up there, but they're almost like everything's in HD, because the humidity is so low and you can your visibility is really.
And then you hear the leaves, the dried leaves, blowing down the sidewalk. Mm-hmm. It makes me really happy.
I'm a big fan of that as well. I would say for me, it's the first time that I get to put on like a reasonably chunky sweater, and it feels cozy. Like when the sweater accomplishes what it's meant to accomplish.
Yes.
Because I don't wear sweaters for fashion. I don't actually.
No, you don't actually wear anything for fashion.
That's a good point. I don't actually think sweaters are all that good looking a thing to wear for me.
For you, good clarification on that.
But sweaters are the closest thing to a Snuggie I would ever allow myself to rock. So when it comes time where sweater wearing is, nice.
That's for the Snuggie comment. Nobody rocks those. You cannot.
Oh, some people rock the Snuggie.
You cannot rock the Snuggie.
I promise you,
You can-
several people who work at my son's daycare
Wear Snuggies, but
rock
they are
the
not
Snuggie.
rocking
They're
it.
killing it.
That
with
is
the Snuggie.
different.
Tearing
Very
up the
different.
town. Anyway, I like the coziness of the sweater.
Oh, I know my other favorite part about fall.
Okay.
It's not my other favorite part, but my other favorite moment
Lay it on me.
is when you go outside and you can smell that somebody has just had a campfire or burned
yes.
leaves or something, and you can just
Yes.
smell it in the air. Makes me really excited.
I'm a big fan of that. It always makes me think about camping.
Yes.
I love camping. We've
Yes.
talked about this
Yes.
before. We're both
I also
fans
love
of camping.
Yes.
And I think there's no better time of year to camp than in the fall.
For sure not.
You get all of those great things. The campfire is really meaningful.
Yes.
Because it actually
Keeps
want
you
that
warm.
warmth.
Yes.
It's not just for show. There's plenty of times I've been summer camping where we're like, should we build a fire? I don't know, fine. Because I like fire.
Because we need light.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit of a pyro, so I'm going to build
Right.
a fire no matter what. But in the fall, when it's like, ooh, it's 40 degrees or 45 degrees at night, let's build a fire.
Yeah.
Cozy up around it and maybe drink some whiskey, you know?
Yeah. No, I'm all about all of those things.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that.
Yeah.
I've done winter camping too, which is
I've never winter camped. I would love to.
it's an adventure. It's a different feeling from the fall. Let's gather around the campfire because it feels good. It's more like you need a fire. That's important now, and you need other alternative heat sources and
Right.
a lot of layering and things.
Right.
So there's some problem solving involved with winter camping, which makes it an interesting.
Which makes it a
challenge.
little strategic, so you really like that.
Yeah, it's fun.
What's your favorite? Favorite thing to eat in the fall that you don't typically eat the rest of the year?
Well, Betsy, I'm glad you brought this up because
Are you?
Yes, because you specifically are a provider of this.
Oh! I actually
And-
did not ask you this question going for this answer.
I've been waiting for the right moment to bring it up again this year.
Well, I'm so glad I could provide that moment for you.
Nailed it. The answer is pumpkin bars. I am obsessed with pumpkin bars.
You are obsessed with them.
My
That's
mom
true.
makes excellent pumpkin bars and did throughout my whole childhood. And so there's a certain time of year, this time of year,
Yes.
typically anywhere from the first week of August through Thanksgiving, where
Let's
they
be
were,
fair. You would eat it all year round.
Oh, without question.
Yeah.
But they would be a regular feature in my house. And they're pumpkin bars with cream cheese frosting.
Cream cheese frosting, right?
Which I also love. And I will eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
And have.
And have.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So last year, was it last year or 2 years ago? I think last year, you made me a pan of pumpkin bars. And they were wonderful.
Well, you asked me for them originally for your birthday,
Yeah.
which is at the beginning of June.
Yeah.
And I
that's
searched high and
weird.
low for pumpkin, and you can't find it.
Yeah, which is odd. I
They
didn't
don't-
think of canned pumpkin as a seasonal item.
No, I couldn't find it anywhere.
But it is. Which actually makes me glad because sometimes in my imagination, some of this canned stuff sits on the shelf for like a year.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe that's not really true. Like maybe it gives me hope that at least in the grocery stores that I frequent, those cans are actually turning over
Yeah.
fairly regularly, even for some of this stuff that you don't buy all the time.
Yeah.
So pumpkin bars are the answer.
That's great.
The secondary answer, since it's not a food, but it's also something I'm deeply, deeply into this time of year, is apple cider.
Oh, I am too.
The real stuff.
Yeah.
Like the cloudy, unfiltered apple cider. The more like homemade or gangster the label looks, the more I'm into it. If it has a clear brand name on it that's like trademarked, I probably don't want to buy it. Like I want the one that ends up in the cooler end cap that
with like the old milk jug that's been recycled.
Yes, that only shows up for like 2 weeks in the fall when all of the different named apples are also in the produce section.
Yeah.
That's when I'm like, yes, load up on that.
There is this place in Virginia that I go to when I'm in Virginia, and it's called Carter Mountain, and I'm obsessed with it. And they make all their own cider. They make their own peach cider as well, and like all these peach products during the summer because they have like a peach farm there. But they also have an apple orchard on site, so they make their own cider and stuff during the fall. But then they make these frozen apple cider slushy things, which is pretty much heaven in a cup on earth, on a mountain. In a beautiful mountain.
I'm going to try that this year because
it's so good.
For a housewarming gift, or it might have been a Gabe is Born gift or something, I don't know. But we got a popsicle making kit that's it's like this deep freeze metal chunk. It's like I don't know what it is, but it's...
Clearly you've never looked at it before.
Well, we've kept it in the freezer this whole time, just ready for the moment that we're going to make popsicles. Wait a minute,
you stored it in the freezer?
Well, that's what you're meant to do. Because the idea is the metal and liquid that's in there is super cold.
You've lived in more than one place since Gabe's been born. You've moved this from freezer to freezer?
No, it must have been a housewarming gift then.
Okay.
Yeah, because it never lived at the old house.
Because that would be odd to me if you moved something from a freezer that you've never used before to another freezer and still have never used it and lived there over a year.
Yeah. I'm still kind of sad that we've never used it, even though we've been in this house for a full year. But now I have the perfect incentive to use it.
It's a great idea.
I'm doing that. My favorite thing to do with apple cider is to put booze in it, which I don't think any listeners are going to be shocked
by. For those of you out there in podcast land, that's Matt's favorite thing to do with a lot of things.
With a lot of things, yeah. So for my money, the best booze to put in apple cider is bourbon. But I put bourbon in a lot of things also.
He also does not have a problem, I want to clarify.
Oh, thank you.
It sounds a little bit like he does sometimes, but he doesn't.
I think most of our listeners are on board with this idea.
Yeah, and most of our listeners, actually probably all of our listeners, know you, so they understand that.
I've also had apple cider with cinnamon schnapps in it, which
I've never even had such a thing.
Delicious. It was delicious.
I find that if I see
the
word
you're just putting enough to
schnapps
flavor it a little bit. It's not meant to be a cocktail.
I like cocktails. I find if you put the word schnapps next to anything, I just do not find it appealing.
Yeah. Well, that may be, and I'm going to be cautious with how I describe this. For a lot of people, they've only experienced college schnapps.
Oh, like banana?
Yeah, like the gross, which is basically like, it's not schnapps. It's just sort of like some cheap liqueur that they added artificial flavor to. Whereas like I don't know if I'm going to say high end, but like a less cheap schnapps is frequently not as gross. I mean, it's still not something that I would ever sit and sip, although my brother-in-law and his now family, who live in Germany, he drinks some schnapps from time to time because that's like a thing there. And I don't think it's like the Schweppers or whatever brand.
That's totally what it is.
Yeah, or Skypers or
something like that.
But the nasty schnapps from college.
When my best friend Laura and I moved into a house together, at some point we had a housewarming party and somebody brought a bottle of, I think it was banana schnapps.
That's horrific.
As like a gift of some sort. And she literally the other day.
Was it a jungle themed party?
This was 7 years ago, maybe. So it's been a long time. She the other day sent me a photo and said, "I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this." We never opened it. Like it never was opened in all the years. She was like, "I don't understand why I still have this. You didn't take it when you moved out 4 years ago or 5 years ago." She tossed it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to wrap my head around what context banana schnapps would like rise up. Like what are you serving for dinner?
Clearly that was a regift.
Oh,
somebody
definitely.
re-gifted.
Like a white elephant kind of thing.
Somebody was like,
banana schnapps is a great white elephant gift.
I need to take something to this housewarming that I'm going to, which is not true. You don't ever need to bring a gift to my house when you come there. But
maybe a pineapple.
You know that I do that.
Previous podcast reference.
Previous podcast reference. I do bring pineapples a lot of places. Okay, so enough about the booze talk, which I know you could go on for years about this. What about, so my favorite thing to eat during the fall, like I get excited when it's fall because I can then make chili, and I love to make chili, and I make it often. What's your chili recipe? Like, do you have an ingredient? Because you make chili, I know you do.
I have made chili, but here's the thing: I don't think I have a good chili recipe. So I
have like 6 of them.
My dad has a good chili recipe, and I have made that.
Yes.
My dad also I don't have my own chili recipe. I make a lot of soup, and you're not a soup fan.
I am not a soup fan.
Which is a little bit of a lie. It's a little bit of a lie.
It's not a little bit of a lie. Here's the thing. Soup is just like this warm liquid, which I just can't get behind. It doesn't feel like a meal to me. It feels like I'm slurping broth or something, which
I'm just going to put it out there.
Hang on, let me go ahead and finish what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now, there are other soups, like the broccoli cheese soups of the world, or like the cream of mushroom soups, that I will eat, because those don't feel soup-like to me. They feel a little more hearty, and like they'll, they're terrible for me. The ones that are
rib-sticking soups, that's what you like.
Yes, the ones that are terrible for me.
So here's the thing. For years, Betsy has been telling me when I invite her to, and so soup is one of my other favorite fall. Like when this weather turns like this, I get really excited about going to Soup Brothers down on Florida.
Right down the street.
My favorite
As everybody
soup place.
In our office does.
Yeah, obsessed with that place. Yeah. And they have so many great soups. And I regularly invite Betsy to come with me to the Soup Brothers, and her response is, "I hate soup." Now, if you play back the tape,
I'm pretty sure I say. Also, thank you for inviting.
Oh, yeah. There's some other things said, I'm sure. The pleasantries.
Soup. Right.
But the answer is, I don't like soup. I don't eat soup. I hate soup. If you play back the tape of this very episode, you will hear just moments ago Betsy contradicting herself in Trumpian fashion.
Wow.
Oh!
That's hurtful.
Yeah, I didn't mean that. Anyway. She literally just said she likes soup. No. Even though she also said, I don't like soup. What you don't like are you don't like broth. That's what you don't like. You don't like broth.
I don't like broth.
Chili, to me, is a soup.
No, that's totally wrong.
See?
That is not true.
I need some feedback from our listeners on this too.
Chili is very clearly its own category of food.
It doesn't get its own category.
Then why do they give you the soups of the day and then separately it says chili?
Oh, see,
Cup of chili, bowl of chili.
That's just because chili is a standard soup on many menus.
It is not.
It's like soup of the day, beer cheese soup, chili.
Is beef stew a soup?
No, it's a stew.
But it also falls in this.
It clearly says stew right in the name.
So does chili. Chili.
Chili is delicious.
It's so delicious. I made my first batch the other day on Sunday.
Soup?
Please don't make it a soup. I love jambalaya.
Jambalaya is not a soup. Gumbo is a soup.
Yeah, gumbo is a soup.
See, but it doesn't say soup in the name. All right. So now that I've proved my point.
You have not proved your point.
I don't regularly make chili, but you make really good chili.
Yeah.
Here's what I like in a chili.
Okay. Just so you know, by you listing off the ingredients of things you like in a chili does not mean I'm going to go home and make said chili with the ingredients you have just specified.
I know. See, I've already said that I like your chili.
Right.
And so
you will eat any chili I give you.
Almost certainly. Yeah. But to me, the top qualities of a chili include the following.
Yeah.
I was about to say it's got to have meat in it, but I've actually had vegetarian chilies that I really liked.
Okay.
But it has to taste like meat.
Yeah.
So to me, that means you need to have some cumin in there or something like that to give me that.
I totally
I
agree.
could pretend that there's meat in there.
Right.
So I like meat. I'm a beef chili guy, generally speaking.
Yeah.
But you can put a little pork in there. Or I've had chili with bacon before.
I just made a good turkey chili.
So I've not often been wowed by turkey chili. There's something just a little off about it to me. But I haven't had your turkey chili, so I'm not going to judge it.
The key is you gotta
brown?
I don't know.
Brown the turkey?
The word has just escaped me, and it's not a difficult word.
Bludgeon the turkey?
it's first of all, it's ground turkey. I use ground turkey in my chili. Season. You need to season the chili before you put it in. I could not think of the word
Yeah,
season.
you should season the turkey before you put it in the chili. You're saying.
Before, yeah.
So it's got its
like
own...
during the browning process, you have to give it its own flavor.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so I haven't been wowed by turkey chilies, but I would definitely try your turkey chili.
I put a lot of jalapenos in this batch, though, so maybe you don't. It's made me cry several times.
Oh, see, this is a second qualifier for chili for me. I like some warmth to my chili, but not heat.
Yes, no, I agree.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I went a little off track on this one.
I don't want chili to be like buffalo wings. When I eat buffalo wings, I like a little heat. I like to feel it.
Yeah.
I want a sting there, but with chili, I don't want that. I want warm comfort food, not like chili contest chili.
Right.
Right.
And
then
totally on board.
And then the beans are really important.
So important.
I'm a fan of the red
kidney beans.
The kidney beans.
Okay.
But I also like the white. What are they? The Italian white beans, or are they navy beans? What's the?
Well, yeah, you can go navy beans. You can go garbanzo beans. You can go pinto beans.
Garbanzos, I'm not as big into that. Pinto beans, yes. Thumbs up for pinto beans. Black beans, no. Now I'm not a...
See, I put the black beans in. All of my chilies. Black beans, dark kidney beans, light kidney beans, navy beans, and pinto beans. No garbanzo beans. It's a textural thing for me.
Yeah,
they have a different texture.
Yeah. They need to. I like the beans to stay together, or to be cohesive, not to be breaking up in the chili.
Yeah.
But having said that, I do like a little bit of thickness in the sauce of the chili. So, and this is me. I'm about to say something that almost sounds like admitting defeat from earlier, but I like chili to not be too brothy. I don't want it to feel too much like a brothy soup.
Let me clarify what you're saying here. You don't want your chili, which is not a soup, to have any consistency that can be compared to a soup.
Maybe.
And I think on that, ladies and gentlemen, I've just won this fall contest.
Well, as long as we've declared a victor.
Yes.
Okay, rapid fire here at the end.
Yeah, rapid fire.
Anything else? And we're not going to go in depth about this.
No.
But, what are 4 or 5 other things you love about fall?
Okay, pumpkin pie.
Yes.
Football.
Yes.
Leaves falling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the leaves candle from Bath and Body Works. Oh. It has a very specific scent to it, and it's amazing, and it burns all fall in my apartment.
I have never experienced this.
Yeah, you should.
What
are yours?
Things I'm excited about. Not mowing the lawn.
Okay.
Throwing my now 2-year-old into a big pile of raked up leaves.
Fun.
And he really digs it, so I'm excited about that. Fires. Just fires in general. So we've got the stove the cast iron stove in our house.
Yeah.
So we'll be using that, and the fire pit out back, or the thingy. So having lots of campfires, and Oktoberfest. So I'm going to Elm Grove Oktoberfest this year. It's actually next weekend, which I'm jazzed up about. It'll be really fun. This is Oktoberfest beers and like just all of that stuff.
Good Bavarian pretzels.
Super
good
fired
stuff.
up about it. Wessel.
Shout out to our friends, the Wessels, in case
pretzels.
They're there. I'm sure they're there. Milwaukee Pretzel Company.
I've got to guess that that particular shout out just earned us some free pretzels. Wouldn't you think? That's very common, is when you give a free shout out on a very popular podcast, that maybe a little product is coming your way gratis.
I'll call Matt and make sure he listens to this episode.
Now, that does not earn you Podcast Pal
no.
right now, but maybe in response to free pretzels.
Maybe. Do you have one? Do you have a Podcast Pal?
We do have a Podcast Pal.
We do. Oh, we actually discussed this in advance. We do know.
We do have a Podcast Pal. So who's it going to be this time around, Betsy? Who's our Podcast Pal of the fall?
Of the fall. It is our friend Evan. Our friend Evan is going to be our Podcast Pal.
Yeah, and this is for a very specific reason, because as you heard in the last episode, we are actively pursuing the idea of podcast T-shirts. I even did a very scientific poll on Twitter.
You more than we are pursuing this idea.
Well, as with many things in this podcast, I'm
driving it.
But our mutual friend Evan has some design chops, and
yes, far more than either of us could ever hope to.
Have none of the above.
Zero.
And he's workshopping a few ideas for us right now. And once we have had a chance to see those and vet them, we're going to be, I think, putting them up for people to give some feedback on before we roll out our first run of.
I have gotten quite a few verbal orders from people. As this has rolled out, I thought it was ridiculous, as you well know, and everybody that watched the video of you pitching it to me saw that I thought it was ridiculous, or heard. But it's actually, people want them. There's sort of a weird demand for them.
I bet we'll make 10 shirts easy.
Probably, maybe 12.
One for each of us, and then
Evan will probably get one, so that's 3 right there.
Yeah. So, podcast pal Evan, what up? Congrats! Welcome to the very.
He's
elite
also a
club.
Minnesota pal of yours.
I know, which makes me really happy.
Home state pride, right there.
Speaking of 3-0 Vikings, we don't have time.
Speaking of 0-3 Bears.
That's why we're going to hold out just a little bit before we do our football episode.
That's right. We got to wait till my record gets better.
On that note, I'm Matt.
And I'm Betsy.
And this has been Guy Talks.
And Girl Rolls Her Eyes.